you with Eyal Herzog as well as James Heckman, talking here about free speech and independent media in relation to everything that you guys are doing over at the street, the roundtable. A lot of wonderful things. You had some big news earlier this week that came out that I really wanted to bring you on and have a little discussion around. Real quick, just for the audience, it'd be great to get some quick intros. James, would you mind giving a quick introduction of yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been in the media industry for, I'd say almost 40 years, but definitely 1991. And I've really been focused on decentralized single platform models for a long time. Built the first digital network before the internet with the National Football League and every major college football team. Converted that to a very large sports network back in with SoftBank and Intel. College football fans or NFL fans might remember Rivals. It's been owned by Yahoo for a couple decades. Built really that was the first blogging network. It was the first social network, and then went on to build a subscription network for News Corp. Architected Hulu, built an ad network with Microsoft, AOL, and Yahoo. And basically, the theme here is independence. So all of these networks, including Hulu and including our ad network and including our last company Arena, really allows media companies to be independent and with a shared infrastructure. And met IL a few years back, and we've ended up combining forces and using really a brilliant Web3 technology that has features that no Web2 product has, and then bringing our decade-long relationships with major media advertisers, and with our UX experience on the Web2, and we've kind of brought together the beauty and the revenue and the I would say distribution relationships and audience to IL's brilliant mind and his great team of engineers. And I think we finally have delivered what Web3 hasn't been able to deliver, and that is audience and revenue. So there's your quick summary.
Perfect. Thank you so much, James. Eyal, would you like to do a brief intro?
Sure. So I live in Israel. Been programming since I was 7 years old. Been learned in the Israeli intelligence how to do it, and started my first company, which was a social network in '98, Contact.com. Way before web apps. Then started Meta Cafe, which was a video sharing app back in 2003. And everything changed when in 2011 I saw Bitcoin, and my life took a completely different direction. I got very excited about this technology. Built several things on it. The most famous one is Bancor, which was the first DeFi. We built the first, we designed the AMM as they are known today. And in 2020, I started to work on social media and content on the blockchain network, which is kind of censorship resistance, and build a platform called DWeb. And until decided to join force with James this year, which was exactly what we needed, because we had the technology, but we needed the distribution and audience and experience from media veterans like James. So that's my story in short.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So James, let me flip this at you, talking a little bit high level here. You had a big unveiling from RTB Digital this past weekend. Can you talk about really what was unveiled here and what's new to the app update and what people should know around RTB?
Yeah. So RTB is first of all, the name of our company is RTB Digital. When we merged with DWeb, Decentralized Web, with Roundtable, and Roundtable pulls together elite journalists like yourself and major media companies like the Hockey News for the NHL, and relationships with Yahoo. And what I think the biggest issue is in the media industry is kind of over control by the ad industry. And certainly when it comes to stressful moments, whether it's politically or not, journalists feel the compelled not to cover things that maybe will cost them money. And so we've come out with a RTB token. It really was the BBS token when Binance backed IL 2.5 years ago. The idea was to rebrand it. So it's a Swiss DAO 2.5 years ago. It's kind of a dormant coin when the bear market hit 2.5 years ago. And IL has worked the last 2.5 years integrating it into a payment system. That payment system will allow journalists like yourself to see how their videos are doing, how their stories are doing in real time. We're the only media company in the world with total transparency, which is, doesn't happen with Hex and Instagram and Yahoo. All of your users are saved on the blockchain. Users can actually pay you, tip you, reward you for great work. If advertisers cut you off, I don't think crypto advertisers will. We're sold millions of dollars of crypto advertising. But if you're a political writer, for example, and maybe Nabisco has cut you off, or the ad agencies, to give you an opportunity for your audience to pay you directly on the blockchain in a decentralized way. You can cash out whenever you like, and you can actually see how you're doing. You can communicate with those users. You can transact. It's a totally decentralized economic system. We're very excited about it. So not only will your content be stored to the blockchain forever, but you can actually run your business and have a direct relationship with your consumers, which is not possible going through Silicon Valley.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. It's about owning that audience. Can you talk just a little bit more about, these other platforms can cut people off, right? They can basically say, no more account for you, right? And here you're talking about people being able to own their audience. How does that actually work here?
The biggest issue, and this really happened, I'm sure IL remembers, I think it was like 2015, Facebook made a decision to cut off people's access to their users. And basically, after charging people billions of dollars to build what they called at the time friends, your Coca-Cola, Facebook was charging a bunch of money. You build up friends. This was your mailing list, essentially, and your customer list. And then one day they stole everybody's customer data after people paid billions of dollars to build it. And so effectively, they turned people's farms into indentured servitude Ukrainian co-ops. And so people are under the false impression on YouTube that they have subscribers. It really is a number for stupid people. They look at it and then they do press releases. I have 1 million followers. There's no correlation to who views your videos and that number. It's a fake number. So they'll show your videos to a lookalike audience to see if they can trigger a bait. Oh, they like crypto, or they like Trump, or they like Biden. So they're showing it to people who aren't your subscribers, and that's good to a new audience. But you typically are seen in front of less than 2%. Right. Now, there's logistic reasons for that. If everybody who signed up to subscribe to everything, they would be getting feeds like crazy and whatever. But it's an illusion that they give to make people feel like they own the business. But you don't own the business. Google owns the business. X owns the business. Instagram is owned by Facebook. And in our model, we don't own the business. You own the business, right? They're your customers. I mean, I'm just really surprised there hasn't been a class action lawsuit on that Facebook situation where they literally told people build your customers, and then they basically stole all that data. I think it's a couple $100 billion crime. But at the end of the day, they can also eliminate you. Scott Melker, who's part of the roundtable, talked about how one day a user conned Instagram into saying, "I'm the real Scott Melker," and then they just took the whole audience from him. And I think when you've got something that I would say is called absolute power corrupts, right? And my guess is you're on a lot of social channels. You should stay there, by the way, because you get distribution. It's a fair trade. You just don't own your business. you own your house, you own that cute, that cool wolf in the background, but all your customers are owned by not you. And so what we've done over the last 30 years, you know, for NFL teams and great journalists and History Channel and Sports Illustrated, and is we give people a chance to recapture their audience, right? And we give the audience a chance to directly communicate with those brands, which major media doesn't allow. They don't allow a two-way, you know, conversation. And, you know, Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube won't let you to say, hey, Bob. They will not allow you to talk to people in mass. You know, you can talk to like one person, but you can't basically go, here's my customer data. I want to talk to all females in Texas who are voting for Trump and tell them to or not to, right? You just can't do that, right? You don't have any control. So it's really exciting because it's a little like being a man in New York, right? The bar is set so low that if you're just a nice guy, you can get dates, right? And when it comes to media platforms, it's such a corrupt, monopolistic, absolute power, ridiculous situation that we just say, look, it's decentralized, your business. You know, go ahead and talk to your customers. We'll bring you money. We'll bring you advertising. IL will invent the best technology in the history of the internet. And, but go do your thing, you know, go be great. And, you know, we actually have white label apps for people if they want, like Miss World's running, you know, 150 sub apps on a Miss World app that we designed for them. The Hockey News has got 40 NHL team sites. They reach 9 million users and they've got their app with us, but we don't make them go to Roundtable. I don't know why Wolf Financial has to be Twitter or be Instagram. Why can't you be Wolf Financial? And so basically all these companies colluded with all the agencies and they cut off ad networks and they cut off bloggers from getting disintermediated direct feeds from advertising. And so in order for you to get money or distribution, you've got to go through the Politburo and, you know, ask if permission to work on their communal farm. And as long as you don't try to take too much grain, they'll allow you to continue to make money for them.
Makes a lot of sense. You spoke about Eyal be building some of the best technology out there. Eyal, can you speak to some of the technology and how this integrates as well with the token?
Sure. So the most important thing, I think, component in the system is that the core data is public. So everything that has to do with media, with stuff that was meant to be public. When you publish something on Twitter or YouTube, you want that to be public. You publish it to the entire world. And when someone publishes comments, again, it's a public domain information. You want that to be public. What those big companies, those monopolies are doing, they're taking this information that was published to the world and they own it to themselves. And they can, you know, make it private and they can hide it, even though the publisher really wanted it to be, you know, for everyone and out there. So, you know, the first component that is very important is that everything, James, we can hear you clicking, so just mute. The first component that we had is that every single comment, everything single like or or post or everything is on chain and can never be removed. And that has a huge implication because it turns censorship into moderation. Today, you can actually censor people on social media, on big sites. Censoring meaning that you remove them from the internet, if you will. No one can even find this information. But when everything is recorded on chain, you can still moderate. So you can hide information from the general public because maybe it's unrelated to the post, it's off topic, maybe it's, could contain expletives or what have you. But you can never remove the record of it. So if you moderate, everyone can see, if they want, they can go to the blockchain and see that you have moderated this information. So you have accountability for your moderation. Unlike what we've seen in social media, especially in the recent years, where moderation was done without any accountability in front of a very large public outcry. So that's one component I think is very different. And the other one, this is the information component. The other one is the financial component. So how do you create a system where really no one can intervene with a financial aspect? No one can cut off. And I remember Patreon, censoring Sargon of Akkad, which was like a big influencer I was actually following. And they did that because the credit card company told them, hey, you cannot have this guy online because he made some inappropriate jokes off the platform, not even on the platform. He made some jokes they found inappropriate. And the credit card company demanded that he will be, off the platform. And I remember that because that was in 2020. And this is why big influencers like Jordan Peterson and Dave Rubin, they actually terminated their own Patreon accounts in protest of this censorship. Because if the credit card companies can control that, then they can do much worse. And we saw a lot of cases when censorship that started with, oh, we're just going to remove Alex Jones from the platform, became, okay, we're going to remove every doctor that does not agree with a WHO. So there is a proven slippery slope with those kind of controls. So when we saw that, and that was exactly when I started working on DWeb, on this platform, we wanted to find a solution that would allow people not just to tip and subscribe and pay their creators in a way that is censorship resistant, but also a way for advertisers to buy campaigns across multiple assets that might be on different servers or different countries, but they all use the same way, the same token, in order to purchase network wide campaign across whatever vertical they want, and it would be distributed to the creators according to the engagement they generate, according to the traffic. So that's why we created this the token and the ad system around it, and the tipping system around it, and together those two things make sure that there's censorship resistant, not just with the content but also with the monetization of the content, which is not less important because no one's gonna be able to work for free forever. So you need to cover both grounds.
Yeah, it's a lot of good points. And you mentioned DWeb there, which has merged with Roundtable. Maybe James, you could tell us a little bit about what sparked that merger.
I mean, we've been working with Google, Yahoo, Microsoft, and my engineers for the last 30 years, really focused on Web 2. And when COVID hit, we were astonished at the speed and, I would say, coordinated effort that the entire Silicon Valley-based media industry were able to wipe out 70,000 PhDs and doctors from the internet. Just overnight, anybody who tried to publish scientific data got kicked off of their website, including the inventor of mRNA. He was like giving all the statistics. He got shut down. The doctor who saw more COVID patients than anyone in the world, he cured 12,000 consecutive at hospitalization rate and tried to publish the data of the formula to cure COVID. He's a Stanford team in San Diego. He immediately got eliminated. Two PhDs in Los Angeles held a press conference. They accumulated all data of anyone who got afflicted with COVID in April. They gave the data of what the dangers were. Every so Jack Dorsey, Susan at YouTube, everybody quickly eliminated the medical scientific facts really quickly, but they were able to do it coordinated. And then there were others that were too famous, and so they didn't want to ban them. And so they just basically narrowed the pipes so nobody could see them. They shadow banned them. And then they cut off advertising. Ad agencies started cutting off agencies. We saw when Elon Musk took over Twitter and he started to allow free speech, all the agencies cut him off. It's like $500 million, billions of dollars. So seeing that in the Web 2 world, that if people wanted to publish scientific fact or data or anything that would be helpful for society, that there was a collusive button The cool club could all get on the phone and basically cut everybody off. And, I used to be part of that club. We all meet, in Cannes and say who we like and who we don't like. And if you're on the premium marketplace feed, you're good. And so just, that was really a sign to me that free speech had ended. And so I think the only way is that the data needs to be live in the blockchain so it can't get erased. Customer data needs to be in the blockchain so no technology or silicon-based technology can cut off your users. And then when I saw what PayPal, Instagram, and GoFundMe, did, and TD Bank in Canada were blocking payments where users wanted to give money to journalists.
Yeah.
I realized that the real censorship is cash. Like, people need to eat, okay? And so, boy, you have to pay people through blockchain decentralized well. So I didn't have those skills. I really had a lot of user experience in terms of Web 2. But IL had been working on a project for 2.5 years. We met at the Bitcoin conference. David Bailey is my co-founder, and realized this guy was on the cutting edge. He explained to me, how he figured out automated market making, and he kind of laid it out, and I was just so impressed. And then the other thing is that he's old. Like, he's an old man, and he was Web 1 with me when we were building the first blogging platform at Rivals. He built the first YouTube at MetaCafe and experienced monopoly. When Google bought YouTube, I was at Fox. We were trying to buy it. We gave him $1 billion offer. YouTube got a little bit more. As soon as Google got a hold of that competitive video platform, he went out of business. Google cut all the links off. He went from making millions to just death. And so that absolute power, once Google had content, it was really impressive. And what was more impressive is the amount of money that they must be contributing to political campaigns and judicial campaigns, because it's the most blatant exercise of violation of the Sherman Antitrust Act ever. And literally, you just eliminated your competitor from the internet, and nobody did anything. And so when NBC, who's a founding part of Hulu, tried to sue Google for monopoly control of video advertising, they got their ass kicked. And it wasn't because the law wasn't on their side. What you learn, as you become a big boy in business, is it's like the Germans taking on the Americans, right? Germans had the best tanks. They had jet pilots. They had, probably the best officer corps. But the Americans just overwhelmed them with Sherman shitty tanks and just unlimited bombing. And eventually you can't handle it. When you're talking about $1 trillion companies, you can't sue them. Right? They'll hold you up in depositions for 8,000 years. So I would say, the blockchain is the answer, right? They can't kill the blockchain. And, I've been in this industry for not long enough. What I do know is that IL knows what he's doing. He built the first automated market making machine for Bancor. The tools that we have integrated into our Web 2 UX is ridiculous. There's nothing like it. Think about on-demand spaces where I could ask you a question, go to sleep. You could wake up at a different time zone and continue the conversation. Like, that doesn't exist anywhere. All in an individual thread, and then I can tip you on the blockchain. I don't even have to go through, reporting or wiring or anything. You don't have to wait for a report at the end of the month, which is essentially always a black box with Silicon Valley. You can literally see how much money you're making. Like, we can agree on a CPM and I can just pay you that. Nothing like it. There's no business in the world like it. And, but I'd say the one thing that so first of all, you may want to support this cause by owning RTB and using it to tip you and Mario and guys. So that announcement of the RTB token is essential for sustainability. We're building an economy so journalists can be paid and users can bypass the advertising agencies and bypass the subscription businesses and Stripe and everything and just pay directly. It's really a remarkable thing. And what we learned during COVID is if you try to pay directly something that the monopolies don't like, they actually won't allow you. In one case, I saw them steal $10 million from GoFundMe. GoFundMe just gladly turn it over to the, I don't know, whoever runs these decisions. It's like people voluntarily gave people money and it was stolen. So
Yeah.
this prevents that forever. So RTB, I mean, I think you should go to Uniswap and you might want to consider contributing to the cause. And I think it's important.
Really good stuff there, James. I think we can move into kind of just looking forward. What are some of the next things people should be keeping in mind? And then we'll hit some closing comments there. So I'll flip that to you, James, and we'll go into the comments. And that is, what updates are coming soon to the roundtable?
I would encourage everybody to go to the App Store right now and type in Roundtable RTB. You're there. I would love it for you to answer questions now or after there. Just post hello, ask me questions. Yeah, you can do that right now, like while we're talking. And people can see not only what's coming, but what is live that you can't get anywhere else. And I think that conversation, people can actually do a video question to you. And then after you can answer, hey, Bob, and everyone can see your conversation, an on-demand video station. So you refine that, but you consider that in beta, or do you feel like it's a pretty bulletproof product right now?
Yeah, I mean, it is initial, but it's working. We recently integrated an AI language model into that. So basically, we're trying to get the best of both worlds. So you can go right now and you can upload very easily from the app and from the web. You can upload a video or an audio. If you're more of a shy guy, you upload that. The AI engine would take that, transcribe that. It would actually automatically generate the title for that post and create a post out of that where people can also read the text as well as listen to the video. But the cool thing is that this is only the beginning of the conversation, because now anyone can respond to that video with their own video, and you can have multiple responses per video, and then again people can respond to the responses. We call that video threads. So it's essentially getting what you can do with comments on virtually every platform today, to do that with video. And I think the reason that it's way more interesting is that you can have very interesting discussions in comments, but then the result is not very entertaining. The result is you're not creating real entertaining content when you're involved in the comment thread. However, if people actually talk to each other, respond to each other, and they don't do it in real time, they do it on their own, time, because it's asynchronous. Then they have time to think. Then they have time to research before they answer you. So it's like getting the good things of like real life conversations and debates, and combining it with the advantage of asynchronous comments debates, which allow people really to research and learn before, and then think before they answer, and putting them together and taking AI to make this experience really seamless. So, maybe you don't want to watch a video of 3 minutes right now. You just want to skim through the text and see if this is something that you even want to respond to. So this is a new content format, if you will. And if you look at the history of all social media and content online, you can always see that what made a new platform successful was always the fact that they presented a new content format that people loved. So whether it might be stories by Instagram, maybe it's the TikTok videos that you edit on your phone. And this is something that is really unique to our platform that you cannot get anywhere else. And the idea is to generate a platform for discussions that will have a result, and the content produced out of it that would become really entertaining and really interesting, even after the discussion is over.
Hey, I just want to remind people, because you're so excited about that one of the 1,000 features that you built. We're not waiting for this to arrive. Like, go right now. The app is live. This is a feature that's amazing, but the whole thing is amazing without it. We have within our portfolio of Roundtable 9 million users in a hockey network. That entire thing is moving over from Web 2 to IL's amazing new Hockey News app. Feel free to go to the App Store, the Hockey News. It's actually on Roundtable, right? And actually, we're going to be able to pay your favorite hockey team journalists directly with RTB. That's live now, and it's filled with great content. We have another announcement that's going to be coming out pretty quickly. We have a signed announcement with Yahoo. They're going to be monetizing the pages and selling advertising. They're obviously an amazing company, and we're syndicating our crypto content. Your content, Wolf Financial, is actually showing up on Yahoo and showing up on MSN. That's because it's coming out of a RSS feed from our business. And I would say the big difference between us and EOS, which never launched, or Steemit, which had essentially no users, genius visionaries, that there's something that should exist, but really that bridge, you've got to bridge with ad dollars and audience and major brands. So many of these projects had good intentions but failed. And, we could have had good intentions to invent an amazing Web3 backbone, but, we would have failed. And IL tried to launch this project 2.5 years ago after the Binance-backed ICO. But honestly, I would say his product was so brilliant, it was a little bit hard to figure out for, guys like me, not as smart as him. And I think we brought him, 30 years of experience of user experience for consumers. And I think it's so much easier to digest now. I think the other thing that you'll find really interesting, Gav, that you notice you're on the top there. We actually have built a virtual roundtable. It's actually kind of not metaphoric, right? So people should think of, what is a roundtable? A roundtable, you go to a conference and the audience is there, and then you have a stage, and it's literally a roundtable of experts. Look at the experts on that particular roundtable, right? And what it's pretty cool, right? You should start spending more time there. No, and NIL bifurcated the experts with the audience. So if you scroll down, you'll see something called community, and the community can actually be posting. They get to stand up and, hey, look at my cool pitch about my crypto company, or whatever they want, right? But we're not allowing, I don't want to use the word amateurs, we're not allowing non-professionals to disrupt. And that's what happens in a lot of social media. Your zone is on the stage. See how that's on the top? And, we worked on this for the last 6 months. And I think that's, to be honest, more revolutionary than anything, because bifurcating experts where they're not going to be interrupted, they got a better UX, it's clear who they are. I mean, I'll just give you, an example. On Facebook, one of my family members, got cancer, and she's doing great now. But she went to a Facebook cancer community. And these people who have cancer are giving medical advice. And, we had a team of experts cure her, and they were giving advice that would kill you. Literally would kill you. It was terrible, right? And I was just sitting there looking at it. It's like, wait a minute. They need the doctors to be specially placed, right? And you should be asking the doctors questions in the doctor zone. And then if you want to talk about the teas and, things that your grandma recommended, you can do that. And I'm not saying that some of those don't work, but you've got the expert roundtable. I mean, it really is an amazing thing. And the way to think about it is like Spaces on steroids on demand, right? Where you've got the top people up there on their roundtable, and then you have the fans. The problem is, and I love Spaces, is that the fans can't interact, right? Because it's always the 10 and it's a conversation among experts. Well, at true roundtables, you raise your hand in the audience. Hey, we're taking questions from the audience. But you kind of can't do that with millions of people. And so if you go to rtb.io right now or download the app, all the new features are there. Just go to the App Store or go to Android and download Roundtable, right? It's got swords around a black logo. You can ask Mario Nafel a question. How often does that actually happen? Mario, right? Wolf Financial. I have a question. You can do it in a video, just like you're standing up on stage. I think it's really cool. And then you can get to it if it's good, right? And then we have a ranking and a reputation system that shows whoever of the community gets the most views, move up.
Right.
So you build your ranking up. So I don't know, man. I'm super excited about the features, and we're going to be rolling this out to 9 million hockey fans in a couple weeks. You guys are rolling them out to your audience. I would encourage you when you're doing a Spaces or like right now. Hey, everybody, go download the app and ask questions. We'll answer them after we get off. And I think that's cool.
I agree. I love it. You make a lot of good points. Nothing that we've seen before quite like this. Let's do some quick final comments. We've run for a little bit here. Over 2,000 have tuned in. Eyal, any quick final comments for yourself?
I just want to stress that really it's very, very, very hard to compete with monopolies that own the network effect. And I think that there are many attempts that we can see around the blockchain space to provide an alternative to Twitter, alternative to Instagram, alternative of YouTube, and they're all struggling like big time. And the reason is that you cannot really fight a network effect, efficiently, because it's not like everyone's going to move tomorrow. And a lot of them are trying to kind of hint, there's going to be an airdrop, or we'll pay users just for showing up, and that's also not working, because that's usually bring kind of people from third world countries that $1 for them is a lot of money. So you get a lot of traffic, on the charts. But not real quality content. And I think, for me, the most I would say appealing thing about this partnership with James is the fact that those monopolies are actually, as they say, they're drinking the milkshake of good traditional media companies as we speak. They're taking their audience, they're moving it to them. They want to see every media company as like having an account on Facebook or Twitter, and get whatever they decide they would get. And those companies, they don't want that to happen. So I think we're kind of showing up in the last moment. They say, hey, save yourself, save your audience. Don't go with the flow of becoming an account on some social media network. Own your audience. And together, if you do that on a Web3 platform, you create a new platform that is made out of all of you, because you have a network effect. You're all connected. It's not like each one of you is its own walled garden or its own isolated place, but you create a whole alternative network that is, as James mentioned, higher quality, made out of experts. And I think this is what differentiates and where the opportunity is.
Hey, listen, I love you, Eyal. You're so inspired, but you're always 10 years ahead of everybody, right? And sometimes that doesn't work in the real world. Don't quit your Twitter. Don't quit your Instagram. Don't quit YouTube. They're a great source of distribution, fame. That's how you built your name. We are not their enemies. We're just saying this is a different thing where experts can get together and hold roundtables, which don't exist in social network. And we aren't competing with them. We don't want to compete with them. I officially love Elon, who I think is saving the world. And even though I think these guys, probably didn't act, I would say, ethically during, COVID, they are providing an amazing service for businesses around the world who are able to run their own businesses out of their homes. I go to YouTube to learn everything. You know, when my immigrant wife moved over here, didn't have a license, she learned how to park a car on YouTube. It was amazing. And so, listen, I think, you know, IL's vision is incredible. We run parallel to social media. We're not a social platform. This is for premium expert journalists. And, you know, so I think talking vision and danger is important, but we also need to be reality. We have a premium network that works with mainstream advertisers. We want to reach a mainstream audience. You know, we're not a network of conspiracy theorists. And so I think, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we interoperate with mainstream media. We will not compete with social media. We're not a social media network.
Right.
Keep doing what you're doing. But look at it. Here's just a great opportunity. Here you are on X or YouTube and telling your audience, hey, let's have a private conversation over here, uninterrupted by the big social world. And that's fine, right? I'm going to always be very careful not to compete directly with social media. Why would you ever pick a fight with $1 trillion tiger? And we're not going to do it. So I just wanted to make that clear. We already have millions of dollars of revenue and millions of users. We're not going to screw that up. And that's what Web3 technology has never had. And it's why it's sustainable. And that's why I think the RTB token is going to be a sustainable economy. And I'm very thankful for IL for inventing it and creating it with Binance and his founders in Israel. And so now we want to have it be beneficial for you so you can build a great company. And we're very honored to be working with Wolf Financial. We respect you. A lot of diligence goes in before we bring somebody into this elite network. And I am looking forward to watching you build an incredible company with us as your partner.
Amazing. Thank you so much, James, for the kind words. And Eyal, it's an incredible vision. I like how you guys put it, right? Not easy to build, but if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. And so on to greater things as it continues to go. You've directed everybody where they can find the app as well as the website. I encourage people to come there and check it out. Do your due diligence into the token as well. This will turn into a replay once we close out here. So if you missed the beginning, feel free to go back and watch it. James, y'all have a great rest of your days. Looking forward to talking soon.
Go to Roundtable on the App Store now. We'll talk to you.